Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you all? I really hope that some of you can join me today and can join me live. Let's just see, where am I? Here I am today. I'm in a bit of lilac mood today. The weather has turned here in the UK, so whilst I started out with a t-shirt on, what I realised I needed fairly quickly was another layer. So here am I, all wrapped up. So let's see. I'm waiting to see if Carol T. Wilkinson manages to join me, because she always struggles to get in. I can see someone's watching. I'm not sure who that is. I'm really hoping it's Carol. A couple of people now. I'm really hoping it's Carol. If it is, let me know. Maria, hello, how lovely to see you. Oh, I'm going to be talking about you in a moment, Maria, having spent some time with you recently. And I'm not sure who and it's Carrie. Oh, this sounds good. Good morning from beautiful Minnesota. Morning drizzle that will give way to a sunny day. Oh, nice. So by contrast, Carrie, we have had morning drizzle, which I don't think is going to give away to anything sunny. It's going to stay pretty drizzly here, I think. So it's not going to be a great day here at all. And good morning, Jenny. How lovely to see you as well. I still can't see Carol. I sent her a little message under the notification saying we should be here. So I'm really hoping she manages to join soon. So what am I going to be talking about today? What are my lessons since my last Lurker chat with you? Well, the first, and it's lovely that Maria is here, because the first is a reminder of just how important it is for me to take time out with people who get me. So, I talk about purposeful lurking, and that's where I think where we ended up last week is talking about purposeful lurking. And this week, a bunch of us, 5 of us who are coaching buddies, went away and had a weekend away from home, a weekend in an amazing, a bit like an Airbnb, but it was, we got it through somebody else. I think they do have it on Airbnb. And it was 3 kind of different suites of rooms, I suppose. And because there were 5 of us, it meant we each had our own space, but somewhere where we could come together. And it was in Folkestone in Kent, and so not far from home for me, very close, in fact, to home for me, a 15-minute train ride. But it's somewhere that, because it's so close, I wouldn't normally go and stay there. I might pop there for a day, or pop there down to the Harbour Arm, to the champagne bar at the end of the Harbour Arm, or to one of the many good restaurants they've got, but I wouldn't stay. And it was an absolute joy staying somewhere like that with people who really got me. So pretty much everyone in the group is an introvert of some shape, many extroverted introverts, but still introverts at heart, which meant that when 1 or 2 of us would disappear and say, I'm just going to have a rest, or I'm just going to lay on my bed, nobody took offense, nobody got worried about it. And it was just the most wonderful time. We walked, and you may have seen, Maria's, look, I know exactly. We're going to put that little message up from Maria because, I know we enjoyed it. I shared on my Facebook stories a snap that I think Helen took of me kind of being very pensive on the harbour when it was a very grey, wildly windy Saturday. And Sunday was, by contrast, a beautiful, warm, clear day. Still a bit windy, but nowhere near as strong as the day before. So we had gorgeous weather, ate in some amazing places, had an amazing treatment from Louise, where we were experiencing her body talk treatments. So all in all, it was just the most fabulous time. And, okay. Carrie's just saying perfect theme for today. Okay, yeah. And we know there's this huge misconception, Carrie, don't we, about how introverts, hate people, which we don't. We're not misanthropes. And actually, what we do need around us is a perfect collection, or just a collection of people who understand us, who get us, that we don't have to apologize for. Yeah. So, Carrie, how are you going to build? My question to you, yay, Carol's joined us. My question to you, Carrie, is how are you going to build that little group of people around you? Because even if they're not geographically close to you, being able to do a virtual retreat. So, whilst we were all in lockdown and couldn't meet as we often or mostly do every 6 weeks or so as a coaching cohort, as a coaching buddy group, um, what we did was met virtually over Zoom, and that worked perfectly well for us. So, Carrie, how are you going to collect around you your group of people, your peers, your support network, who are really going to give you what you need? That's my little question for you. And Carol, delighted that you've got here finally. I know it's always a challenge for you for some reason, to find. So I put a little post under here and said, I'm going to be live here soon. So I hope that attracted you to find us here. So that was something that was very special for me this weekend, the Friday to Sunday experience. And it meant that I both recharged, had different experiences. I bought, can you see? Let me see if I can use my finger properly. Can you see this here? This is a selenite crystal that's hollowed out in the middle, that's got a little electric bulb in it. And I decided to bring it into the office and replace my boring light with that. And it's just felt lovely in here. So that little selenite light is really gorgeous, and it's apparently good for all sorts of things, although I'm going to do a bit more research. So that weekend was great. What else has been going on? Well, so far this week, I've appeared on a podcast in Australia with an outrageous extrovert who was the most delightful person to interview me. I knew she was an extrovert to begin with, so I'd done a bit of pre-charging and I had time to recharge afterwards. And she's so excited because she said that it's the first time she'd ever really thought about the difference between extroverts and introverts, and running groups as she does. She knew how important that was, and she'd already started to post in her group, and she's posted the question, okay, so who's an extrovert and who's an introvert? So I know that's landed really well with her. I've written and have submitted my second article for Inside Government Education Hub. So my next 3 set of tips around how teachers and educators have a responsibility to help create a level playing field for introverts. The first article was published in August. I haven't seen much feedback, so I don't know if it's received any feedback. I do hope so. And this week's podcast episode, which is going live on Thursday, is all about how to give advice to maybe children or youngsters in your circle who think they might be introverts. And it was prompted by, as so many of my podcasts are, by a post I saw in an introvert group that was asking people to offer, how she could advise her teenager who was really struggling in the education system. So it prompted me to record an episode that I'm now going to create a downloadable freebie for, that's just all of the ideas on one place, so that people can just go and pick it up rather than listen to it and have to make note of it, where they can kind of lift it all. I might even turn it into a blog post, not quite sure what to do with that. So if you've got any ideas, that would be really helpful. So the episode that's going to release this week is not quite so controversial as last week's, because last week's was me having a little rant about transformational coaching, because I found I've been getting a bit wound up about, everyone who qualifies as a coach somehow badging themselves as a transformational coach. And my objection, I suppose, and I think it is that the only person who decides whether it's transformational or not is the client. I can have the intentions and I can use the methodologies that should enable transformational coaching, but it's the client who does the work, and it's them who judges whether it's transformational or not. So it was just me having a little rant. But more than that, I hope you've listened to it. If not, I encourage you to do so. It was me talking about why I think marginal gain approach to coaching works so well for me as an introvert and for many of the introverts I coach. Thank you, Maria. She said she loves my perspective on transformational coaching. Thank you. For me, the marginal gain approach, marginal gain technology is what Sir Dave Brailsford used when he turned around the British cycling team for a few Olympics about 2008 onwards, I think. And the marginal gain approach is about what are the small changes that you can make that over time add up so that when we look back, all of a sudden we go, wow, haven't we come a long way? And for me, I think that's sometimes more manageable than the big kind of flash, bam, wham, transformational coaching idea. But what I also included in there is something that's really important to me. And if you can spot my earrings, which side am I going? Going this side. You'll see that they are little dragonflies. And that's because dragonflies are really important to me. A lot of the imagery that goes with transformational coaching is, the classic chrysalis to a butterfly type transformation, with the message that you have to turn to mush before anything good happens or before the beauty is revealed. And the reason I like the dragonfly approach is because they go through up to 15 changes in terms of the larva or the pupa kind of shedding its skin before it kind of sheds again and again and again, which for me says that there isn't just one big thing. There's actually lots of small things that happen to create the overall picture that we end up. But, and I think this is really important, when we do the final shed, when the dragonfly finally emerges, first of all, it's vulnerable. So its legs haven't hardened and its wings haven't dried. So it needs to escape from the water and get up fairly tall to get out of harm's way. But it can never go back into the cast of the pupa that it was before. It can never squeeze back into that. And I think that's a really important message when we're coaching, is that the people around you might wish you had stayed the way you were. They kind of got comfortable with us. They knew who we were as that person. So there's something also about how do we take people with us on that journey rather than all of a sudden go, ta-da, this is the new me. Anyway, I had great fun, and it was really very poignant for me to record that episode last week. And I think it's equally important this week's episode that's coming out Thursday, the advice for the youngsters, because with up to 50% of us identifying as an introvert, there are going to be many of the young people in our circle who struggle with this, who need our guidance. And whilst it's easy for you to talk to them as an introvert about it, sometimes it's easy just to direct them somewhere else, and then they can come back and talk to you about it. Anyway, I think that's probably enough from me today. What have we got next week? I'm not here next week because I'm away on a business retreat next week. So I'm away. I leave Friday, going to stay with a buddy of mine, somebody who's often here, Paul. I'm staying with him for a couple of nights before I head off to the business venue. And then I've got Monday to Friday at the business venue before heading home. So I won't be here doing a lessons from the Lurker next Tuesday. So don't watch out for me because I won't be here. I might manage to do a live at some point, but I can't guarantee it's going to be at 1 o'clock on the Tuesday. So watch out for me, but it may not be at that time. So have a good week. And I really hope that your flourishing is moving along in the direction you intend. And remember, it's a journey, not a destination. Every day, every moment, you choose to flourish. So choose that for yourself today. Thanks all.